Joined now by Chandler Stephenson as we continue to take a look back at 2017-18 in the Stanley Cup playoffs and the hoisting of the cup. And Chandler, this season had to be a heck of a roller coaster for you. Come to camp and probably expecting to be on the roster, get sent back to Hershey, clear waivers. But you made sure that when you did get called back here a couple weeks later, you stayed and you certainly made your imprint in so many ways on this team. When you look back at this, how do you describe these last 9 months?
Just a blur. Come to camp and then start in Hershey and come back and get the opportunity, and was fun. It was just kind of having fun, rolling with it, and getting more opportunities as the season went on the penalty kill and things like that. It was just a lot of fun, and to eventually and ultimately hoist the cup was the cherry on top. A crazy whirlwind of a year.
What does it do for your confidence level when you come back and a lot of times when a guy gets called up from the American League, it's pins and needles time because you don't know how long you're going to stay here. But I mean, you played on literally all 4 lines, played left, center, right, killed penalties, and by the end of the season, you hear Barry Trotz referring to you as his Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously something that I want to be is somebody that can play multiple positions, and kind of been moved around throughout the years and things like that. It just kind of gets you comfortable and familiar with that position, and have the opportunity and things like that, and to play on every line. It was cool just good to say that you get to play with some of those guys, and Ovi and Bakino, Shinkuzi and things like that.
Cool was it too for you and guys like Jacob Rana, Madison Bowie, Christian Juice, a handful of you guys that spent some time in Hershey, and in your first season as pros went all the way to the Calder Cup final, didn't win it, and then in your first season in the NHL go all the way to the Stanley Cup final and do win it, and you get to experience both of those. And I think it was 2 years and a day after Game 4 in Cleveland, you guys are at a parade and a rally, the likes of which this city hasn't seen.
Yeah, to have those guys, around all year, it definitely was a comfort level, just to have a familiar face and, that bond that you've built over the years. And it just kind of was, something that, if you asked us that 2 years ago, where we would have been, and, to be together, would have laughed at you. So to get to experience it with those guys and, to enjoy the year and to look back on the year that we had together, it was obviously one that we'll never forget.
And a bunch of you guys obviously are the future now of this team too. How exciting is that to know that, at some point, guys like Ovechkin and Kuznetsov were going into their second season too, and they've kind of taken ownership of this, and you guys will have your time as well, and it's really right around the corner here.
Yeah, with Ovi and guys like Niski and Brooks and things like that, they've been around a while, but watching how they are and shape that they're in and things like that, they could play 5 or 6 more years if they want. So that's something that learning from those guys ever since I came to my first camp, and being a sponge and soaking in everything that they do and being around them and things like that, just helps yourself and kind of shape you to the player and person that you want to be.
What are the takeaway memories and images you want to be able to remember on the rocking porch of the old folks' home about this season years and years from now? What do you want to come to your mind right away when you think about this?
Just, the kind of guys that we had on the team, and, the brotherhood that we had and how close everyone was. One of those teams that, you don't get the opportunity to play with very often, and the kind of guys that they are, and it's just a friendship that you'll have for a lifetime with the guys that are on the team this year. So that's something that is with hockey, that you always form those special bonds, and they last forever.
You're one of the guys who's been a little bit vocal about what he wants to do with his day with the cup, and sharing it some with the Humboldt Broncos. Anything else planned for your day with it?
No, that was something that I wanted to do ever since the incident, but other than that, just get to celebrate and enjoy with family and friends, and the ones that have been with me since day one, since I was little. So that'll be something that looking forward to, and I think it'll be a really cool and special day.
I agree. Sounds very cathartic, and I think it's a great gesture that you're doing it too. Thanks for spending some time with us, and thanks for everything over the course of the season. And enjoy this.
Yeah. No, thanks, Mike.
Thanks to Chandler Stephenson for spending some time with us on the Monumental Sports Network.